All right, so we're going to do a deep dive today on this Offset Paris Brawl thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm fascinated by this whole story.
Yeah.
You know, late night Paris,
It seems like a recipe for some excitement.
swanky hotel,
Yeah.
Offset 1/3 of Migos,
Mm-hmm.
and a French rapper, Gazo, and they got into it.
Yeah, I mean, these guys both have pretty sizable entourages,
Yeah.
and they ended up in a brawl.
Yeah, so apparently the reason behind this is that Gazo's crew wasn't happy with the video shoot that they paid Offset $150,000 for.
Right. So you have to wonder, like, what was in the contract? Like, what were the expectations?
Yeah.
What constitutes, like, a successful video? I mean, from Offset's perspective, he shows up.
Right.
He does his thing.
Yeah.
Maybe he thinks he's done a good job.
Right.
Yeah, this...
Wait, but whose perspective is right,
Right.
I mean, what are we talking about here? What could they have expected for that price?
Well, and you also have to consider, I mean, there could be, like, cultural differences in how they view,
Right.
a successful video shoot.
Yeah.
Different
cultures.
different countries, different expectations. And then you have these entourages, and these entourages are basically
Right.
groups of friends and associates. And they often act as these mediators or gatekeepers
Right.
for these artists. So you've got these two groups with different expectations, potentially.
Their tensions are already high, probably.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
a lot of money involved.
yeah. And so it sounds like Offset was being pushed into a car,
Right.
shouting threats. Security's trying to hold everybody back.
There are reports that he was yelling, "I'm going to kill you." Whoa! It escalated pretty quickly, and it spilled out into the street.
It's wild. I mean, outside of a fancy Parisian hotel.
Yeah, it really makes you think, like, how this would be perceived in France.
Yeah.
A country that prides itself on elegance,
Right.
And then this brawl breaks out
Yeah.
with an American hip-hop artist. So could this have been avoided? I mean, was there something else they could have done?
Well, it's hard to say, not being there.
Right.
But it sounds like the situation just spiraled out of control pretty quickly. And there are reports that Gazo's entourage actually tried to force their way into the hotel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And like one woman actually fell to the pavement in this whole chaos.
Luckily, the police showed up,
Yeah.
but no arrests were made.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, could there be some sort of behind-the-scenes agreement to keep things quiet?
Maybe pressure from some high-level people.
It's possible.
So then it gets even more interesting.
Yeah.
The very next morning,
Yeah.
Gazo posts this picture with Offset on social media,
Oh, wow.
smiling ear to ear,
Okay.
teasing their new collaboration, Wemby.
So, this is a pretty classic move in hip-hop. You take a PR nightmare
Right.
and turn it into a publicity opportunity.
But was it real? I mean, is this all just a stunt?
Yeah, I mean, it's a question worth asking.
Right.
I mean, fabricating drama is risky,
Mhm.
but it can also be very effective, especially in a genre like hip-hop,
Right.
where authenticity is so important.
Yeah.
And it's very much driven by these real-life narratives.
I mean, it's working. We're talking about it right now, right?
Right.
And everybody else is.
People are talking about it. Fans are going crazy.
Yeah, but there is a line, right?
Sure.
You can't just be out there hurting people
Of course.
for the sake of getting attention.
And there's also that ethical question, right?
Right.
How far is too far, When does it become, just completely cynical and manipulative?
So what does this say about these guys? As artists, I mean, are they...
Well, for Offset, this isn't his first run-in with controversy. I mean, he's cultivated this image throughout his career, one that kind of embraces elements of danger
Yeah.
and aggression.
Could this hurt him, though? I mean, he's a professional.
Potentially, but he's also proven that he can bounce back from these types of things.
And what about Gazo? I mean, he's newer, right?
Yeah.
In the scene.
He is.
How could this affect him?
I mean, this is definitely going to put him on the map.
Yeah.
But the question is this the right kind of attention?
Right.
I mean, will this elevate him, or will it be seen as a publicity stunt gone too far?
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So it's a gamble for both of them.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm interested to see how the hip-hop community responds to this.
Yeah, me too. I think that'll be very telling.
Yeah. Let's unpack that. Let's talk about the response.
All right, let's do it.
So what's been the reaction from the hip-hop community to this?
Well, it's been kind of mixed. I mean, some are obviously condemning the violence. They're saying, like, regardless of the reason, fighting is never okay.
You're right. I mean, there are a lot of people in that community who really are advocating for peace and unity.
Exactly. But then you have others who see it more from like a street culture perspective.
Oh.
Where like authenticity and, kind of that rawness is really valued.
So like more old school.
Yeah, you could say that.
Respect earned through confrontations.
Right.
So it really depends on like who you ask and how they view hip hop.
Yeah. I mean, hip hop has always had these diverse perspectives. It's a complex culture.
For sure. So then you have the fans.
Right.
And they're the ones who are ultimately going to decide if this hurts them or not.
Exactly. I mean, are they going to be turned off by the violence, or are they going to see it as like, part of the whole narrative?
Right. Some people are really upset.
Oh, yeah.
Calling for boycotts.
Right.
And then others are like, yeah, that's my guy.
Right. They're intrigued by the drama.
So maybe this was a publicity stunt.
I mean, it's possible.
We're talking about it.
Exactly. And so is everybody else.
Right. All press is good press, right?
Well, in this case, it seems to be working.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got people talking.
But could this backfire? I mean,
It could.
it seems pretty risky.
Yeah, there's definitely a risk of alienating some fans.
Especially the ones who see this as like a cynical ploy to get attention.
Exactly. And, even if it works in the short term, can you really build a lasting career on controversy?
Right. Will people get tired of it?
Exactly. I mean, there's a fine line between, generating buzz and just becoming known for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see if they can stay on the right side of that line.
So it's a gamble.
For sure.
It's a gamble.
It takes time.
But beyond them, I mean, this whole thing says a lot about the music industry, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like how much emphasis there is on, on spectacle.
Absolutely.
On social media.
I mean, this whole thing went viral so fast.
Right, within hours.
It's everywhere, and it just shows you the power of visuals.
Right, people saw the video of the fight.
Yeah, it was the roundhouse kick that everyone was talking about.
So they're aware of this, right? These artists and their teams.
Oh, yeah. They know that a powerful image can get people's attention.
So are we rewarding this behavior by even talking about it?
It's a good question. I mean, are we contributing to this problem by giving it attention?
Right. Are we giving them what they want?
It's something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. But let's talk about where this happened. I mean, Paris, that's an interesting element to all this.
It is.
Yeah,
Paris is not exactly known for, street brawls and hip-hop beefs.
Mars, I mean, it's the city of love.
Right.
Fashion, art.
Yeah. Not really known for,
street brawls.
hip-hop beefs.
Right, right. So you have this American hip-hop culture.
Yeah.
Which is very much like, in your face bravado, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like Parisian culture, which is a little bit more
restrained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mixing oil and water almost.
Yeah, it is kind of.
Yeah.
And you have to think about like the concept of face.
Right.
That's really important in a lot of cultures.
Especially in France.
Especially in France, yeah. Saving face, maintaining dignity and respect.
So a public brawl like this could be seen as a pretty big deal.
Oh.
For sure. So what about the French hip-hop scene?
Right.
I mean, how does this play into all that?
Well, French hip-hop has its own history, its own evolution, and they've always kind of grappled with this relationship to American hip-hop.
So this kind of brings that to light.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this microcosm of, the global dominance of American hip-hop, and then you have the French artists who are trying to maintain their own identity.
So how do they respond to this?
Yeah, I mean, is this something that they just brush off?
Right.
Or is it, a bigger problem for them?
Okay, but what about the music? I mean, are they still going to release this song?
As far as we know, yeah, Wemby is still on track to come out.
So how's this going to affect that? I mean, are people going to be more interested?
I think so.
Less interested?
Yeah, I mean, there's this curiosity now, right? Like, what are they going to say in the song?
Are they going to address it?
Yeah. Will it be a diss track?
Right.
Will they completely ignore it?
It's got to affect it in some way, right?
Absolutely.
It's part of the story now.
It is. It's part of the narrative.
Yeah, and people are going to interpret it based on all this,
Exactly.
So this whole thing is just really, really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah. Truth is stranger than fiction.
That's right. So as we wrap this up then, I mean, what's the takeaway for you?
I think it's that, this whole thing highlights how complex, the music industry is, especially like the world of hip hop. I mean, it's global.
Right.
There's so much money involved, and it's all about, art colliding with commerce and culture.
Yeah, we saw all of that here.
Yeah, it was all on display in this one crazy event.
So to our listener, go do your own deep dive.
Yeah.
Check out Offset. Check out Gazo.
Listen to their music.
What do you think?
What do you think about all this?
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.